Good morning. I just thought before my Saturday story time, I'd show you my lemon balm that's popping up between my rows again. And remember, lemon balm is not only relaxing, but it's one of the best herbs to heal canker sores and mouth sores. So keep that in mind if you ever need to have that. And once you get lemon balm, you always have lemon balm. It's in the mint family. So it should have that square stem that is in the mint family. Let's just see if I can show you. I didn't get much of a piece, but the stem of that is really a square. Oh, and it has such a lemony smell. And it is a balm. So, there you go. Anyway, I'm going to sit and tell you my story, the Saturday story. And and my chickens are coming to visit and to hear this story too. So here we are. Hello, chicken. Come here. It's squatted down. You can't see it. Oh my. I think I'll back that up just a bit. Okay. Here we go. And on the Saturday story, I left off with Robert coming from Hungary, and he was a refugee, and he stayed with us. But, oh, that's my silver lace Wyandotte. I can always tell she has a different sing. Okay, to start with, I'm just going to tell you a little personal peek here that I wrote. And it says, since I am no longer pushing 40, but dragging it, I thought I'd gained the freedom to put this diet concern behind me, but not so. I am still pounded with thoughts to conform to our trim designer jean culture, at least try to fit in. Besides, I am addicted to the scales. When we moved from Oregon last year, I was going to make the break and never allow the scales to dictate my way of life again. I gave away my scales. Yes, I did. And then shortly after our move, I would sneak a peek at the scales before Sunday dinner at my folks. Usually this would depress me that during the dinner I would hear myself saying things like, "I'll have another piece of chicken," or "What's for dessert?" Then I found out the Sunday peek was not enough, and I had to make midweek trips to the drugstore scales. This gave me a feeling of well-being for a while, but then I found out the scales were set light. Now we have the UPS shipping service, and the scale addiction has grown into a daily affair. The fact is that the UPS scales are digital and accurate, but I still think they lie. One Wednesday morning, I skipped breakfast to arrive on time for my aerobics class. That night, I skipped supper to make the volleyball game. Thus ended an active day. Thursday, I eagerly weighed first thing. The results? 3 extra pounds. Either the scales are lying or aerobics are fattening. So, another beginning in our work world. I'm sorry. We are enthused. The Council Exhibit Committee has asked use of our upstairs for the textile exhibit to be on display this summer. This means a complete renovation of the upper part of our building, 2,300 feet of devastation from neglect over time to be turned back into its former fashion. We are in the midst of electrical work. Oh, let there be lights. Okay, anyway, when we went up, and Robert, the Hungarian refugee, he helped us strip and get rid of all the lath and plaster. It was crumbling, some had fallen off. You make a lot of noise, honey. Yes, come over here. I hope they're not too noisy. There, yes. And when we stripped it off, it was the perfect time to rewire the building. The downstairs had been used over the years, and someone fortunately had modernized the electricity down on the lower floor. But the upper floor still was working on knob and tubing. And so that was all taken out, and we had an electrician come in and did that work for us. And oh, let there be lights, and yes, there was. And then, wait just a minute, I was going to read a little bit more. Okay, April was a full month. The building... Honey, would you go someplace else? Yes. Yes. There. Yes. April was a full month. Hey, shh, shh. Can you be quiet? No. Okay. The building progress was like the hare in the proverbial tortoise and the hare race. We spurred ahead with such vigor, much being done, and then back to dull, slow, plodding pace. Tom, I can't believe this hen. I think I'll go someplace else. Here, you go someplace else. Yeah, you go. Yeah, there. Thank you. Okay. Okay, maybe you can hear me now. Okay, Tom and Helper continued hanging sheetrock until it totaled 175 sheets. I'm going to be reading ahead, not this time, but in another part of the story, and it talks about 199 sheets. So there's some discrepancy. It's been a long time, but I know when they first put it up, there was half of the building, not half of the building, but the part of the building we divided into 2 rooms. So at the first we didn't do that. So that could account, at this time, that division was not made, so it only took 175 sheets. And then getting 175 sheets up to 2 stories, and there were 21 stairs. It went up a certain amount of stairs, and then there was a landing, and then there was a stairway to part of the building and a stairway to the other part of the building. And so the back to the front. And we had a man come in and tape and texture and put mud on the walls and get them ready. And Patrick arrived to, well, Bob arrived. Bob arrived to texture and tape and texture all the empty sheets. Bob has many aliases: Oregon Bob, Hippie Bob, Captain Mud, Madman Mud, plus many others that might not be as nice. But for us, he was all those names and nicer. In 6 days of fast, furious, and expert work, he left more than mud on our walls. He left a new texture to our hearts and added new words and phrases to our vocabulary. Now a plane. My new phrase used after a tiring time is quit sniveling. You're a big girl. You can handle it. While Tom mumbles under his breath, I'm a very sick man. Did I say that? Bob asked. Bob spent 6 days flinging mud and entertaining us with no television. It doesn't take much. But Bob was as intense with his humor as he was at doing a good job. At the end of those days, we discovered under his long hair, loud noise, and humor a sensitive, serious, and caring individual with traditional values. Home, marriage, and his children are of utmost importance to him. Thank you, Hippie Bob, for the job well done and much more that you left us with. On Bob's wake, there was Mike, and he came with 32 gallons of paint to be blown over the new texture. Mike was fast and efficient. Now you see him, now you don't. The next day, we were back to the slow, tedious work of flooring, changing windows, 10 new ones in, 8 more to go. I'm being asked more and more questions about why and what are we doing up there. We are getting the upstairs of the building ready for the first annual textile exhibit to be displayed June through Labor Day. This is in conjunction with the already existing quilt show held in the usual place at school. The new textile show will be on display upstairs in the Lawrence building coming this June. Don't miss it. So another question they asked us, well, did we live in that building? And yes, we did. And it had 13-inch brick walls all the way around. And the kitchen and the bathroom where we lived downstairs had 13-foot ceilings. The living room had 10-foot ceilings, and the bedroom had the normal 8-foot ceiling. So, okay, and then another thing I talk about here was the kitchen floor where it was all, okay, the kitchen seems to have suffered from frost heaves, and we still trip occasionally over the heaves. It just went up and down so abrupt. It was really something. And finally, that did get fixed too. And when I go to bed each night between the Long Branch Saloon and Eddie's grocery parking lot, I have peace, protected and secure behind my brick walls and under God's care. May you also be secure under God's caring hand. And I'm going to end with that. And so next week we will continue with the renovation and how it turns out. And I'll tell you some of the history and what the building had been used for. So with that, have a good Saturday. And I know I said I would slow down, which I really plan to do. But I couldn't leave Saturday's story with such a messy building. So with that, have a good day.